All right. So there's a lot to talk about. You don't know the truth about Judea. I don't know, maybe we'll wait a minute or two to get people in. I was gonna do a stream for like 500 push-ups as like a challenge. I'll do it probably sometime this week, but I just don't feel like it right now, so not gonna do that. Fuck it, there's no one in here, but let's continue. By the way, new mic. How is this? I think it's pretty good. So, let's start. You don't know about Judea. You don't know the truth about Judea. I'm assuming you haven't been living under a rock and you know all the evils of Israel and what Israel did and stuff. But Israel is merely an operative to the Jesuit order and the Catholic Church. I was raised Catholic. I'm sure you can tell by my name, but there's so much more nuance that you have to discover. Now, a lot of my talking points are going to be on like, or people I'll be, referencing are Johnny Cerrucci or Giovanni Cerrucci and the Dance of Life podcast. Those two guys have amazing sources and they always cite their sources and everything. And I just regurgitate on live stream what I hear over the past like 6 months. So, yeah. Israel is an operative, and that's it. If you don't know what operative means, it means Israel is basically a pawn or like a lesser in the whole game. As we know, the Bible talks about the whores that the evil will produce. I think it's the beast, the whores of the beast. I could be wrong on that. Daniel and Revelation talk about it a lot. And you know, we have all of these things that bring you away from Christ. One being Islam, that there are videos on how Islam created the Catholic Church. Do I believe it? Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know. The thing with the Catholic Church stuff is there's so much to go into. It's not like the Israel stuff where you go on Instagram Reels and you see like a bunch of stuff. It's just like, oh, it's right there. It's like, like Jew, 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 Jew. It's not like that. With this stuff, you actually have to like look into it. You could look at podcasts and videos, but like there's so much like it's so much harder because it's the truth. The reason why Israel's being exposed right now is because they want like there are multiple reasons and multiple reasons could exist, but the reason is because they want people to go back to the church. People look back at the and like Rothschild, right? Rothschild means red shield, who had the red shield to the Romans. And I know people might be like, well, that's just a coincidence. How are you like a conspiracy theorist and say that? When it was about this JFK, it wasn't a coincidence. When it was about this person, it wasn't a coincidence. But now, once it's about your fucking Catholic Church, it is a coincidence. Or like, no, no, that's not how it works. You know, it's not a coincidence. The Catholic Church is, Rome, and Rome rules the world. If you don't know about the Jesuit order, look into it. It was created in the 1500s by the Catholic Church as an arm to do evil and to bring people back, to just destroy. And if you're going to be a body like that, you need a bunch of arms. You need one in the Middle East, that's Islam. You know, you need all these secret societies. So, but yeah, Rome. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack. I kind of want to start streaming on a huge side note. I kind of want to start streaming like video games. I think it'd be fun, like Minecraft and shit. Hold on, I'll be right back. Let me All right, back. But you guys gotta understand about all this Israel stuff is that if they didn't want you to know, you wouldn't know. How, like, you really think you're gonna find the truth of it all on Instagram, funded by made by Mark Zuckerberg? Like, a Jew? Like, it just makes no sense. Israel is an operative, you know? And it's obvious. They're going to these extreme, like, they're all the stuff that the Jews are doing is true, right? And not to be confused with any normal Jew, anyone you know, when people, and including me, say the Jews, we mean the Jews causing the problems. And it's not all Jews by a long shot, because that's tens of like, like what, 15, 20 million, but it's always a Jew, and that's what they need them for. They need them to bring people back to the mother church. They need people to shift the tide back to Rome, and to make all that, Roman, Christian nationalism, all that stuff. They need it to look good. And how is it going to look good? You need a boogeyman, and boogeyman is the Jews. And they are doing all those bad stuff. Like, they are, like, that's true. Like, they are doing those bad stuff. But what this whole thing is saying, that it's for another reason. Now, if you want to go deep into it, because people have this weird belief to where if you're going to believe something, even if there's sufficient evidence, it has to be like an already approved thing. Like, it has to be like a like that. There has to be studies on it. It's like, not everything's like that. Like, remember the term conspiracy theorist came from when JFK got shot, right? Now we know that it was fishy. There was some things to it. But if you said that a few years ago, you'd be fucking called a conspiracy theorist for it. You'd be labeled, because that's what they do. They're labelists. Labelists always label people. It's a shortcut to make people look bad. Look up who made the term racism. It was a Jew. All these terms were made by Jews. Like I said, it's not all Jews by a long shot, but it's always a Jew. And that's what Rome wants. They want the Jews to be behind it. And whether the Jews know about it or don't. Because people always think it's like the Jews, or like, the this or the that. And it's one mind, or like the Masons. They're different humans. Like, they're different people. So when you have like the Jews, maybe some of them know that they're being controlled by Rome. Maybe some of them don't. It's such like a nuanced thing that, like I said, you have to do research for yourself, because it's not an already established, like, studyable, like, what I'm trying to say. People are like, well, how does this, like it's like everything starts out as like a hypothesis or whatever, and that isn't. I might bend the term a little bit, but that's not, in my case, used just for science. It's used for anything that has the integrity of a scientific idea, which is revolutionizing, which is a new idea. So that's what I'm talking about with Rome. This is a revolutionary thing. Um, and a lot of people before me were talking about this stuff. A lot of people still do. Like I said, Johnny Cerrucci. And there's so much nuance to it. It's a lot to unpack, but like I said, I'll try to bring up some talking points here. It's like Rome is, like I said, they're using the Jews to bring them back, right? And now there's another reason why Israel wants you to hate them. It's because in the Old Testament, it literally talks about, once everyone, the whole world is against the Jews, or like Jerusalem or whatever, and they think that's them, not spiritual Jerusalem from the New Testament. They think it's physical Jerusalem from the Old Testament. That's why they're in the land, right? So that's what they do. They want to make people hate them. Think about it. In Palestine, they could have easily just killed all of them. They could have easily poisoned their water. We don't know what happened. Like, they got away with so much stuff. They want you to know about this. They want you to be like, fuck Israel. Because if you say that, then you'll be doing what the prophecy says. And obviously the prophecy is about the Christians, which is true Jerusalem, which will happen from Rome. Rome will betray the Jews, Well, that's my theory. Again, it's hard to tell. When something isn't found on fucking Instagram, it's hard to tell. And all that stuff is true. All the Jew stuff is true, but people get carried away. People get carried away because they always think that the Jews, like, and that's it. There's nothing more. And if you think there's more, then you're a goy. And it's so stupid. It's like, motherfucker, why, like, you don't even know what goy means. Like, you don't even, you're new to this. You're a new gen. Like, you come in the past 3 months. You don't know what any of this stuff means. You're regurgitating what you see on Instagram Reels. You didn't do any research, and neither did I yet. But I've watched people who did, and who brought all this stuff together, and who compiled it, and who has the integrity of what they've did in their research, and they gave it to me. And it's on YouTube. It's free. It's free information as long as it comes to you. And yeah, it's super interesting. Sorry, I'm doing that a lot. I like mucus. It's fucking annoying, but you know. And that's what it is. And then you have people like Fuentes. Fuentes is all like like a little impression. Like the Catholic Church, Israel, the Jews. Candace Owens. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. This guy is so pro Catholicism that look. I was a Catholic, right? Like in my adult life, like a little bit, right? And I thought, like, even Sam Shamoon, for example, he's one of the best Christian apologists ever. And he had a good reason for going to Catholicism. I know he did it in the past, I think 6, 7 years. Um, but yeah, with him, I love Sam Shamoon. I love all those apologists and all that stuff. And Sam is a really good apologist and a really smart person. And you know what I mean? So I'm not shitting on why he went to Catholicism. But with him, like he talked about well, now he's talking about the Jews. And that, like, just now. And he's just now realizing how bad the Jews are. Like the Jews. Right, like I said. I already stated my definition of the Jews. So get the fuck off my back. You fucking goy. You know? Defending people who hate you. It's crazy. If it's not fucking obvious enough, why does there have to be a study behind it? Like, open your fucking eyes. You know? Yeah. My hair's a bit cooked, though. Alright. But yeah, there's so much nuance to the Rome stuff, and you're like, there are books about it, you know, um, or another really good documentaries are Europa: The Last Battle. That was fucking. I watched it over a year ago in this room, like in this chair, and it was crazy. It was literally insane. And let's go to World War II. There's always three sides to history, and again, there's always three sides to an argument or whatever, like the saying goes, right? The truth. No, fuck that. One way, another way, and then the truth. One way is, oh, he killed 6 billion Jews, right? And that's false. The other way is, he was a hero and he had no, like, this was pure, and that's false too. They're both false. They're both false. He was a Roman Catholic. I'm pretty sure he was Jesuit trained. Hitler, right? Please, I hope that doesn't get the fucking video taken down. I'm not used to this. My second live stream. I'm not used to live streaming. It's my second one. I said yit. Let's go Austrian painter, right? Let's go Austrian painter. Austrian painter wasn't one way or the other. And I know, like, Europa: The Last Battle is true and all that stuff is true. And it's hard not to, like, when you're lied about someone so much, like crazy. Because on paper, the Bolsheviks killed more people than even the Hollywood Mazis, right? Even the Hollywood, you know, right? So it's like, because what was that? Okay, 6 million, right? They from the 1910s to the end of World War II, 1940s, like the end of the 1940s, a little bit after World War II ended. They killed like 20 to 50, 60 million people. Some people say it was 60. I don't know about that. I think it was probably 20 or 30 mil. And definitely 7. People like that's like the lowest is 7 mil, which is a million more than the fake cost, you know? Halo cost, right? The Halo, the gun, the shooting game, the Halo cost. It was a million more, but no one talks about it. And that is sufficient evidence on like there has to be something that we're not being told. Fuck off. And that's it. That's the like that is sufficient evidence. You're told that you're like you're the fucking we're the good guys and this and that. And then when you find out it's all bullshit, then you start to lean so much to one way. And that's a lie too. You know? Like Nick Fuentes, Catholic, Candace Owens, all these people in the government. I thought we were a Protestant nation. What happened to all that stuff? I guess everyone's a Catholic now. It's crazy. I guess this is how it is. Am I fucking public right now? I hope I am, bro. Chill. That'd be fucked up if I wasn't. Yeah, that'd be fucked. Because then I'd have to edit this into a VOD. I mean, edit it into like a better VOD. You know? Um. Yeah. What was I gonna say? But yeah, like Nick Fuentes, he's so to the right, like far right. And in my ideas, I am too, but not in who I support. Because then it'd be like the Christian nationalist, like Austrian painter, and I see through the lies. I see why one way brings to another. And I see it, and it's true. And if you want to look into it, please do, and don't listen to me, because I don't know all the facts. I'm just regurgitating what I've seen over the past few months, which I think is sufficient enough. When you wake people up, it's not always going to be like an already established belief. Matter of fact, this is one of the only things that's not already established. You have a religion, right? And everything's there. So you could find out basically everything that you need to know about the religion. But with this, not only is new stuff happening that can change the whole space or like the beliefs, but it's stuff that you're not really supposed to know about, you know? So there's that. Anyway, this was about 20 minutes. I might end this soon. I really want to start playing video games on stream. I really want to know how to do that. I really want to look into that. I know you need like an Elgato, but like I don't want to fucking. I have no space. I have no space. You see my room? It's small as shit. I have no space. By the way, this is a new mic. Is it cool? What do you guys think? It's Rode. Everyone has the Rode mics. I decided to come on the Rode train, and this is what I got here. So I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. I treated this like a video, but it's like, fuck it, because then I wouldn't get my thought off. I just sit here and you know, you know. Damn, this shit is dead. See, it's crazy how I'm dropping knowledge and this shit is just dead. Not one person has come in. It's crazy, but I'm sure people will see this in the VOD. Maybe the thumbnail should be better. Maybe I should fix the thumbnail. I don't know. See, like sometimes in life, see, like now I'm gonna give advice, right? Sometimes in life, you really gotta just take the first step. Like you really gotta just. So I was like, I want to go on stream. I was gonna do the 500 push-ups. And I just don't really feel up to it. I'm gonna have to angle this down. It's like, I wanted to talk about this last night, and I was like, meh. But I decided to do it today. You know, but really look into the Jesuit order. Really look into the fuck Rome and all that stuff. Someone just join. Whatever. But yeah, all that stuff is super. All that stuff is super interesting to know about. Like I said, Nick Fuentes is always about the pro-Catholic, and he might. I don't know if he's an operative for Rome, but he could be. You know, there's just it's so obvious that they want you to hate all the liberal Jew shit, and then they want you to go back to the church, and it's a poor representation of what it's trying to represent. because it's a counterfeit. That's what Rome is. Rome is a counterfeit, and they're always in these scandals, and they're always in the BS, and the Orthodox Church eventually got controlled by Rome. Or even the what's it called when like the Inquisitions and what's the word? The Crusades. The Crusades was good and a bad thing. So many people think that everything in life is black and white. That's not true. It's always a spectrum. So much because they always people showing you these things in media. They always want you to think that everything's black and white. It's not true. It's all like most of the time in life, things are a spectrum. So you have the Crusades. They were partially good because they kept Islam out of Europe. They stopped all that. They kept their ground and they stayed to what they believed in, and that's great. But then they start to go too far, and then Rome. That's basically what the Crusades were. It wasn't. It was Rome killing a bunch of innocent people after they did the good stuff, and that was true Christians as well. You know, it was true Christians as well, and yeah. But like I said, I'm just the messenger. I'm just trying to talk about this a little bit. Really do look into um really do look into why fuck that. For example, when you see someone new, right, hit the scene, why do we believe them? Why are they here? It's always a good question to ask. What why are they here? People say, oh, Nick Fuentes is a shill for Israel. That's so cap. I don't think that's true. He's been talking about this since 2018. Now, if you want to say he's a shill for Rome, that's great, you know? And look at me, right? I'm going against Rome and the Israel. I'm going against both. Rome and Judea. That's what it is. And of course Islam and the secret societies and all that stuff. Obviously it's true. You can't say the conspiracies aren't true. That's cap. And I guess the best defense I would have if someone's like, no, the Catholicism is the true heirs of Peter, and he started Catholicism. I would say, then what about the Jesuits? Why are all these evil people Jesuits? Jesuit Donald Trump, Jesuit trained. Why? Why are these people everywhere? I wish this was a Protestant country still, because it's so cooked how everything came out to be with Rome. Hollywood. Jesuit theater. It's literally Jesuit theater. The Jews are obviously they're the face of it. Behind it with the true, you know, the strings, that's Rome. But everyone in front of you is the Jews. And it's always been there too. You watch a movie and you see the end credits from like the 90s or the 2000s. It was always there. Maybe they thought that people were going to find out on their own, and then they needed these people like Nick Fuentes or whatever. Again, one thing I don't really know about is what's the relationship like with do the Jews know that they're operatives? I don't know. It's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, we're closing in on about half an hour, so I think I might close it there. I yapped for long enough. I'll do more research. I'll look into it, and like I said, you know what? Sometimes you gotta just make the first step. I wanted to film a video, and here I am. You know, I wanted to do a live stream, and here I am, and that's it. So I don't know. I kind of don't want to finish, but it's really it. But just notice, like this is like your homework, I guess. I don't know. Notice what Nick Fuentes does next. Notice what all these people do next. Candace Owens, they're all Catholic. All of them are Catholic. You're gonna see all these people becoming Catholic. You know? And they need people to go back to the church. So many people say, oh, the Antichrist is Israel. No, it's not. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, it's not. We know Israel's bad. It's not a fucking secret. Everyone knows it. People who were calling me anti-Semitic a few months ago are like, yo, like, it's the Jews. Yo, it's the Jews. Like, no fucking shit. Like, it's so obvious. They want you to know. Rome and Judea want you to know it's the Jews. They just can't but they want you to be angry about it. They want you to know it's them, but they want you to be angry about it. Cause then that's when like you do the work. We'll do evil to you, and then we'll put pawns so you'll find out, and then boom. And this is literally in the Holy Bible. This is in the Old Testament. And not that like this is a counterfeit perversion of what's in the Old Testament. You know? Because the real Judea or the real Jerusalem is the Christians, right? And there's so many reasons for that, and I strongly believe that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian because it's true. And yeah, so hopefully I taught you guys some stuff. Just look into these people. See what you're consuming all the time, even with me, right? So I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. I really do want to start streaming video games because I love Minecraft and GTA and all that shit. Um, I'll look into all that stuff, and Elgato. Yeah. All right. So peace. Thank you for watching this rant, and hopefully you watch the VOD because like no one was fucking in here. So all right, peace.